How's everything going, my wonderful brothers and sisters in Christ? Welcome to the latest episode of the Catholic Meme Roundup. For those of you who have not joined us for our wonderful little foray into the internet before, this is a show where I rate memes on a scale from 1 to 10, primarily Catholic memes, although occasionally 1 or 2 not so Catholic memes. And in general, try to give you guys an idea of the sort of stuff that's coming out of the Catholic Renaissance and culture, art, politics, and memes that we're trying to start up here in Catholicism for the modern world. I hope you guys choose to become members of this community. We stick around. That having been said, let's get right into the memes. This one's a bit too far if you ask me. They're going after the televangelists on this one. This actually is a really big reminder, though. There was a time in America, and still is to an extent, where one of the largest viewed shows was Fulton Sheen's. And so we see this is a kind of presage for things like the Word on Fire, for example, which is very well viewed, really well regarded. This idea that the Catholic intellectual tradition presented in this honest and direct way can have such a massive effect on the general public. I mean, it's very interesting to see what American culture used to look like on this front. It's a bit like when you consider English culture when G.K. Chesterton was around. The idea that someone like Chesterton, who I think was a bit like the Fulton Sheen of his day, could have such wide circulation as an author while selling what essentially amounted to Christian orthodoxy and Christian intellectual history in such an easy-to-consume package. I give this one probably, let's say a 5 out of 10. Let's say a 5 out of 10 on this one. Just because it's not that inventive as a meme concept. It's just a play on that old Petridge Farm joke from Family Guy. But it does have a little bit of that, that bite to it. Because of the funny way that it's a barbs at televangelists. It would be interesting to see if we could get a Fulton Sheen of our generation with that kind of circulation. I mean, we obviously have a lot of, very strong advocates of the Catholic intellectual tradition now. Some of them who probably get more viewers than Fulton Sheen really overall. But it would be interesting to see if we could see kind of a revival of that kind of longer form television content to spread the faith like that. I don't know. Maybe that's something Catholicism for the modern world can work on if you guys support us. this one's a lot funnier than the one we had before. The idea of being sheened as a verb. It's a very inventive concept. I'll always give more points to a meme that has that biting inventiveness of creating new words. It's just great to see. I mean, this one, it really does play on an experience that a lot of people seem to have had. Because if you watch Fulton Sheen's show, which is available in clips on YouTube, really should give it a shot. Maybe I'll react to it later on this channel if there's enough demand. But if you watch a couple episodes of his show, he talks about the idea that there really were people that were writing him saying, like, why did you have to make that show? It made me convert to Catholicism, and now my life's different. Why'd you have to take my old life away from me? Is it a bit like Fulton Sheen's out here, not just debunking people with facts, logic, and reason. He's debunking people with faith, logic, and reason. So, this meme, I'm going to give this one, let's see, I gave the last one a 6. This one's a solid 8. This one is appreciably better than the previous one, both because of the new meme format with the whole separate word, and also just that smile. I mean, there's something magnetic about this setup, and it's probably most of it's obviously coming from Fulton Sheen. This is a Fulton Sheen focused meme review, but it conjures up the idea of that internet blood sports that I think a lot of us grew up with back in the 2015s, 2016s. But with this image of just Fulton Sheen as the ultimate internet blood sport warrior, I find it very funny. This one you can't really laugh at because it's just true. I mean, the Soviet Union, and now today, really just modernism, is just the cross without Christ. I mean, nihilism as an idea has pervaded our society, and it really does tell people that the world is just the cross without Christ, just suffering for no apparent reason, that life is meaningless, that death comes and that's the end. That is the message that so much of our modern world sends us, and it is truly depressing to reflect upon. But we also see in this his idea of America here as Christ without the cross. Now, when he said this, he meant the idea that America really was this land where people had this deep understanding of striving after the ideal, but where suffering was left behind. America's theology kind of being defined by that prosperity gospel, power of positive thinking type thing that you see with Joel Osteen. But now, the situation's far worse. We've lost both Christ and the cross, because Americans no longer strive after ideals the way they used to before. And they also don't see the purpose of suffering, like they always did before. So this, while not necessarily a funny meme, is a representation of how important the ideas of someone like Fulton Sheen can be. Because you can see within this a clear understanding of American culture, a clear understanding of the nature of the atheistic, nihilistic culture of communism at the time, and with that, a chance to reflect upon how our society today reflects the worsts of both systems, and why things are particularly bad today. So since this meme isn't one that, made me laugh or was particularly funny, and is also pretty uninventive, I have to give it about a 3 out of 10. But as an idea, this is a very, very informative concept. It's given me a lot to think about intellectually, but it has not given me a laugh, and it's also not that inventive. So, that's why it's got that lower score. Boom! Transitioned. No warning. You know how things work on this show. I can move around anywhere on the screen I want to be. So right now, I'm the parrot on Dos Equis Man Fulton Sheen's shoulder. I digress. Fulton Sheen, certainly, actually, the most interesting man in the world. The setup on this one, pretty straightforward. Just to play on that standard old Dos Equis commercial from back before they replaced the most interesting man in the world with just advertising their mid-tier beer with nothing else. This highlights the point I was making earlier. Fulton Sheen got 20 million viewers at times. I mean, he was a shockingly popular figure. There was a time in American history where one of the more popular shows in general was just a Catholic priest talking about intellectual history. And we can see this today with things like Father Mike Schnitt's Catechism in a Year and Podcast in a Year. There is clearly, at all times and in all places, a deep longing for truth, a deep longing for moral reality within the hearts and minds of people. And this is one of the things that's so important for us as Catholics, is that we need to understand that we are the ambassadors of Jesus Christ on earth, and we have a moral responsibility to deliver the gospel onto as many people as possible. And with that, a responsibility to bring truth to people and to bring the realities of Catholic teaching to people. So this one, I'm going to give this one, let's see, probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's a pretty interesting format. It obviously plays on that really funny bite. It avoids the excesses of going after other people that you see in a lot of memes. So, I mean, it's a very Irenaeus meme. It's a very interesting meme. And, of course, it gave me a chance to reflect on that reality that all Catholics are called to deliver the gospel. As I say on this show regularly, we got to bring about that Catholic Renaissance. We got to bring more Catholic media into the world. We got to spread the word of Jesus Christ as much as possible. Because like this group of 20 million people here that used to watch Fulton Sheen, like all the people that used to follow the writings and teachings of Catholic intellectuals, the people want to know the truth. And it's our responsibility to help bring it to them. This one's probably the 10 out of 10 for this episode. I'm not going to lie to you. It's got that set up with that nice classical priest dress. I mean, that's drip. That's drip right there. I mean, like, suits are good. I'm a fan of suits and ties, but this is how a man dresses. This is how someone pretending to be a man dresses. This is how a real man dresses. I kid, of course. But it highlights the fact that Fulton Sheen has this deep awareness that Catholicism needs to have something for the eye. And this is something that the Church had a very deep awareness of in the past, but has seemingly lost in the aftermath of the Second Vatican Council. Namely, that just raw knowledge that for Catholicism to truly and fully appeal to people, it needs to be more than an intellectual idea. It needs to be this very deep synthesis of intellectual concepts and also very much these aesthetical concepts. Catholicism is both art and beauty and truth and faith and reason. And I think we found ourselves in a situation where we're just selling people on the intellectualism a lot without selling them on the beauty. So this meme, both while being a really funny setup, the idea that every man secretly wants to be dripped out like Fulton Sheen, and also giving us a chance to reflect on that reality that we need both the art and the beauty and the intellectual tradition, it gets a solid 10 out of 10. This is the 10 out of 10 for this episode. I don't know how many more memes we got, but this one's got it, irrespective of what I say after this point. As you can tell, this episode, rather Fulton Sheen centered. That's because one of our sponsors for this series, Tan Books, is offering a sale on Fulton Sheen's works. This is the Fulton Sheen signature set, which goes over a broad swathe of his traditions and beliefs in the form of books, and it's being offered for 35% off from Tan Books through the end of the month. If you buy through our affiliate marketing link below, we get a cut of that proceeds, and it helps us run this ministry. It helps us improve, it helps us spread the word of Jesus Christ like we talked about in the video, and it helps us provide better services to you, our beloved community, our brothers and sisters in Christ, and our patrons in this process of attempting to evangelize American culture. With that having been said, I encourage you guys to like and subscribe. I encourage you guys to come back for our next episode, to expose your friends to this wonderful series, and to get more people involved in this community. We all need more friends. We all need more supports in this walk to saintdom. I'm sorry, I'm catching in my voice a little bit. And so we want to grow this community. So, to wrap it all up, buy from the affiliate marketing links below so that we can grow things. Be our patrons, be our friends as we carry on through this effort to evangelize America. And I hope all of you guys have a blessed and wonderful day.